Now, who will be the City of Johannesburg's latest mayor? A special sitting of council is expected to elect a new executive mayor following the resignation of Thapelo Amad. Now, the DA has announced that it wants a former mayor, Mpho Phalatshe, to make a comeback. But on the other hand of this aisle, coalition partners are backing Speaker Colleen Makhubela for the top job. So, eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones is following that story for us, and he joins us live now to give us the very latest. Pule, it seems it's another day and another case of who will be the next mayor of Johannesburg. We understand that that comeback by Mpho Phalatshe quite imminent, the DA backing their candidate, but also interestingly, Speaker Colleen Makhubela could also be in on the run for this position.
Definitely, she is in the run for this position. You'd remember she was also previously facing a motion of no confidence against her in her position as a Speaker of Council. But of course, there are 4 candidates here. Action SA fielding Funzi Ngubeni as their preferred mayoral candidate, with the backing of other parties such as the IFP and the DA fielding in Mpho Phalatshe. But the multi-party coalition are walking into this race, of course, divided. What will be interesting here is to see who may emerge between Mr. Kabelo Kwamanda from Al Jamaa and, of course, Colleen Makhubela from Cope. But without wasting any more time, she joins me right now to speak to us this morning. Colleen, thank you very much for talking to us on eNCA this morning. Now, let's just chat about today. Obviously, a council will be sitting, and what are the proceedings that will be unfolding, so much as to say that we also understand that there was a motion against you as well in your capacity as the council speaker.
Good morning, Pule, and good morning to all the viewers. Today it's a very interesting day in council, mixed emotions. We are sitting for our 15th extraordinary council to elect the executive mayor for the city of Johannesburg. As you'd remember, the mayor resigned almost 7 days ago, and now we have a vacancy that we must fill. What will effectively be happening today, parties will nominate who they feel should be the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg from the floor. And I've also invited IEC, who will be assisting us to conduct those elections in a secret ballot fashion, and trust that it will be free and fair, and all councillors will have the opportunity to voice their preferences through that secret ballot.
How confident are you walking into this race? Do you believe that you got the support or backing of other opposition parties as well, such as the ANC, the EFF, because they've been quite clear that they're fielding in candidates from the minority positions as well?
Look, I think the agreement in our government of local unity is to field in a minority candidate. That minority candidate has not been announced yet. And once we finalize with our discussions and negotiations, which are still undergoing, that candidate will be announced, and that will be the candidate that the whole coalition from the government of local unity perspective will be backing. We do understand from what we read in the media that the D and the Action SA might be also fielding their own candidates. We remain to see that as soon as we get into council. But as far as our government of local unity coalition goes, I think we'll await all the discussions behind closed doors that are currently taking place.
You're coming in as a mayoral candidate, of course, from Cope. We saw what happened in the city of Tshwane. In fact, the former mayor of Tshwane and Speaker, Dr. Mayoral, was appearing before the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court this morning again. One would ask, why should the people trust Cope if they're fielding a candidate once again?
We've made it clear from the beginning. It's not a COPE issue, it's an individual person issue. We've just had the mayor of Al Jamaa resigning. Why should we trust Al Jamaa again? We had the mayor of the DA also being ousted in a vote of no confidence. Why should we trust Phalatshe again to lead the city of Johannesburg? I think it's not a COPE thing, it's the Dr. Mayoral thing, where his behavior led him to where he is today. And COPE is a party that is intact. We always have good people, good candidates, credible people that are qualified, experienced, and that are leaders. And by the way, it was the multi-party that put Mayoral as the leader for over a year. And they backed him. He led that council of Tshwane in a very dignified and in a very competent manner. Unfortunately, his behavior and desires have led him to where he is today.
But why should residents trust you? Because you were criticized of meddling in the affairs of the city of Tshwane and not necessarily focusing on what's happening in the city of Johannesburg as a speaker, which was seen as quite problematic by council as well.
I made that clear in the media to say, you media must stop reporting the gospel of Herman Mashaba and Michael Beaumont. I'm not here to answer what Michael Beaumont and Mashaba say about me, and clearly their politics are misplaced. I had a surgery, and I was booked off up until 10th of April. I was not supposed to be in council anyway, but I can still do my party duties when called upon to do so. And indeed, I've said it before, if it was a white woman doing that when she's supposed to be on sick leave, we'll be celebrating and applauding to say, here's somebody who's supposed to be in bed, but because duty is calling, they are there to do it. Council ran very well. The chair of chairs was presiding over that council. My leave was duly accepted by council. There is no issues around that. So we're not going to really justify Mashaba and Beaumont's interesting assessments about me. Clearly, I'm not expecting them to like me. Remember, we are black women who are strong, black women who are assertive, who know what they want, and who are capable leaders. So surely that does not sit well with some of these white supremacists and these leaders that are still chauvinists. When you see a black woman who is not in your box, who cannot be controlled by you, it's a threat. And they know if indeed the multi-party, the government of local unity, vote on me and decide on me to stand as a mayor, I think Herman Mashaba and Beaumont know what they will be getting. The show is over for them.
Just lastly, why did you decide to vie for the mayoral position in the city of Johannesburg while you were still a speaker?
I'm not vying for any position. As I said to you, it is the government of local unity that sits and look at who do we have as credible candidates that we can push forward to be the mayor. It's a collective that sits down and decide that. And that is the collective that is sitting today to look at all the candidates that we have that are raising their hands to say, I'm available to serve in this position. And that will be looked at, and the credentials, the experience, the qualifications, and the one that the coalition will decide on is the one that all the coalition will back. So nobody is vying for anything except for we are available to serve when called upon.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Colleen Makubele, the current Speaker of the City of Johannesburg, saying that she is not vying for any position, but she was called upon to serve for the City of Johannesburg, particularly importantly, the residents of the city. We'll see what happens in the next couple of hours from now to see who will emerge as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. Parties have made it quite clear that they will be fielding in 4 candidates, of course, Funzi Gobeni from Action SA, Mpho Phalatshe from the DA, Colleen Makubele from COPE, the support of the ANC and other partners, and of course, Thapelo from Al Jamaa as well.
All right, interesting times. Pule Letshwiti-Jones, as we continue to see who will, of course, adorn those mural chains in Johannesburg. We'll be sure to catch up with you again, colleague, as soon as there are other developments right here on eNCA.